The days after that rooftop party felt like walking through a thick fog. In the music room, I'd lose myself for hours, headphones clamped on tight. I told myself I was composing, but really, I was just trying to fill the quiet, the space where Minho's voice used to be. Every melody I wrote just echoed his absence. Meanwhile, Minho was doing his own version of disappearing. He'd take the long way to class just to avoid me, his shoulders hunched, carrying a weight I couldn't see but definitely felt. I heard he'd started wandering the campus late at night, a ghost haunting the empty streets. And we weren't the only ones caught in a storm. Heijin and Sue were a tempest all their own. One minute they were this beautiful, chaotic force, and the next they were on the verge of shattering completely. It all started with something small, a disagreement over a group project, but it spiraled fast. Soon they were experts at avoiding each other's eyes, even in a crowded room. But then there were these moments. A flash of a glance across the quad, a hand almost reaching out before pulling back. You could see it, clear as day, that magnetic pull, that unspoken love that refused to let go, even when they were both hurting. In the middle of all this emotional wreckage were Yunho and Taemin. They were like the calm eye of the hurricane. They saw the pain we were all in, the silent battles we were fighting, and it seemed to make them hold on to each other even tighter. Their hands were always linked, whether they were buried in books at the library, walking home under the stars, or sitting through those painfully awkward group dinners where the silence was deafening. Their quiet smiles, the little glances they shared only with each other, became this strange beacon of hope for the rest of us. It was a small, steady light that whispered that maybe, just maybe, things could be okay again. One evening, I couldn't take it anymore. The campus was bathed in the soft glow of the streetlights, and I found him, Minho. He was sitting alone by the fountain, the water shimmering with reflected neon signs, painting the night in a swirl of color and shadow. My heart was pounding as I walked over. I had to force his name out. "Minho, can we talk?" He looked up, and the exhaustion in his eyes hit me like a physical blow. "There's nothing left to say, Jin," he said, his voice flat. But I couldn't accept that. I crouched down beside him on the cold stone steps. "I've been a fool," I managed to say, my voice shaking. "I thought I could just write my feelings into songs, hide behind my music, and that it would be enough. But it's not. It's not enough. I need you. I've always needed you." I watched as a tremor ran through his lips. "I wanted you to see me," he whispered, his voice cracking. "Not just the notes on a page, not just the guy who shows up for rehearsals. I wanted you." The words hung in the air between us, heavy with everything we hadn't said for weeks. We just sat there in silence for what felt like an eternity, the cool night air thick with apologies and regrets. Finally, I couldn't stop myself. I reached out, my hand trembling slightly, and gently brushed the hair from his face. Instead of pulling away, he leaned into my touch. Just for a second, the world seemed to stop spinning. All the noise, all the hurt, just faded away. But it wasn't that simple. A moment of connection couldn't magically erase the fractures of the past few weeks. I knew, even as I sat there, that I had my own walls up, secrets I'd never shared with him. The immense pressure from my family, the expectations they had for my future, things that were slowly crushing me. And there was this other friendship, an old one, that was starting to feel complicated, strained by feelings I refused to name. The truth is, I was a mess. And Minho, even though I could see he wanted to believe me, knew it too. He knew that trust, once it's been broken, is a fragile thing. It needs time. It needs patience. It needs proof. So we didn't leave each other that night with some grand, dramatic declaration of love. There was no movie magic kiss, no promise that everything would be perfect from now on. It was much quieter than that. We just parted with a silent understanding. an acknowledgement that the love between us was still there, a tiny flickering flame. It was fragile, yes, but it was also stubborn. It was enduring. And it was waiting, patiently, for a chance to heal, for us to be brave enough to let it. The path forward wasn't going to be easy, but for the first time in a long time, it felt like there was a path at all. This story is just beginning, and there's so much more to uncover about these relationships, about the secrets we keep and the love we fight for. If you've ever felt that pull, that complicated, beautiful mess of human connection, then you'll want to see what happens next. Thank you so much for joining me on this part of the journey. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter. See you soon.